Alright everybody, I am Senthil and welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be giving you my list of what I currently consider to be the top 7 sexiest fragrances a man can wear. And considering this is my first ever video, you're probably thinking, why should I listen to a man who looks like the misshapen love child of Javier Bardem and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? To which I can only reply, fair point. Let's just say I've done a little dating in my time, and over the years I've developed a pretty good awareness about what works and what doesn't. And I understand that most of you have neither the time nor the inclination to spend hours upon hours researching and testing the maddening array of fragrances available on the market, just to figure out which ones give you the most bang for your buck. And that's where I come in. To save you the time and the hassle, I've gone and put together a list for you of what I consider to be the 7 sexiest fragrances a man can wear. And to give you a heads up, these are not cheap. In some cases, the prices may even knock the wind out of you. But for this particular video, I wanted to go all out and pick the absolute best with no compromises, just so you know what's out there. So if these seem a little out of reach for now, just bear with me, and I promise to make another video in future where I focus on just more affordable options. And for that reason, I definitely do not recommend blind buying any of these. Number 1 is a masculine, seductive cocktail of a fragrance that's so heavy on the rum, you run the risk of losing your job if you wear it to work. It's called Straight to Heaven Extreme by Kilian. And while it might be highly inappropriate in the workplace, in a more romantic, intimate setting, trust me when I say there are few better. If ever there was a fragrance you could rightly call intoxicating, this would be it. The next one goes in a similar direction to the well-known Viktor & Rolf Spice Bomb, but with the dials for refinement, smoothness and performance all turned up to 11. It's called Rehab by Initio, and I find that if I walk into a building wearing this, I rarely walk out without a compliment. And if I head out for a date wearing this, I rarely come home without a woman. Obviously that's not true, but it sounded good, and sometimes that's what really matters. Number 3. My favourite soft drink of all time has always been Coca-Cola. My favourite alcoholic beverage is cognac, so it's rather fitting that my all-time favourite fragrance be one which opens smelling like Coca-Cola and then dries down to a distinct note of cognac. And it is Roja Dove's Enigma, or Creation.E as it's known in the States. It is mind-meltingly good. The sheer level of class, sophistication and elegance this has is off the charts, but it will blow a hole through your wallet, so don't say I didn't warn you. For special occasions, this is undoubtedly my scent of choice, and in my opinion is the finest fragrance available on the market for a man, period. When you wear it, the only thing that rivals a lady's attraction to you is your own attraction to yourself, you narcissistic bastard. Number 4 is a fragrance that smells so realistically of whiskey, you might be wrongly, or rightly, accused of having a drinking problem. And it is Baraonda by Nasomatto. The way a woman's eyes just seem to light up whenever she gets a waft of this thing is a thing of beauty. When I see that reaction, I immediately think that is what I want from a fragrance. It's sex in a bottle, and sometimes it makes me wonder whether it's even worth wearing another fragrance. Should you ever decide to wear this out on a date, don't be surprised if your date suddenly develops an almost unhealthy fascination with the way you smell, which makes this one a little bit hard to recommend in an era of social distancing. Number 5 on the list is one for the more refined bad boys amongst you. It's another one by Kilian and it's called Black Phantom. And if you're in ever any doubt as to what kind of man this is aimed at, may I simply refer you to the huge menacing skull that protrudes from the accompanying jewel case. I think it's safe to say that Kilian had a very clear vision of who they had in mind when they made this one. This is a gourmand fragrance, which means it's the kind of fragrance that you don't know whether you want to smell it or eat it. It sets off all those triggers that make you almost salivate as soon as it registers. A boozy concoction of chocolate, coffee and caramel doused in rum. In other words, this will effectively turn you into a walking, talking dessert, to a degree where a girl might suddenly just start gnawing chunks out of your neck in an accidental act of cannibalism. Anyway, for the sake of self-preservation, you may want to give this one a miss. Number 6. If I ever want to feel as attractive as humanly possible on any given day, I reach for Pegasus by Parfums de Marly. This thick, powdery, bitter almond beast of a stench has saved me from going home alone on more occasions than I can even care to remember. Of course I'm lying, but in the hands of a slightly less repulsive individual, this could be the very thing that turns the tide in your favour. Nevertheless, this is the closest thing to what I would call my signature scent. Now, if this was anyone else's list, this is about the time where Creed Aventus would probably get a mention. But for all the hype surrounding Creed Aventus, I'm yet to find a single lady who reacts with the kind of frenzied, panty-dropping enthusiasm we've all been led to expect by countless other YouTubers. There are many clones that attempt to replicate or top the success of this fragrance, but of all the would-be Aventus killers, there is one that truly lives up to the billing. Which brings us on to the seventh and final fragrance on this list, Roja Dove's Elysium. In my humble experience, it manages to consistently induce that state of lust and excitability in any woman that has the misfortune of my company. Which is what you ultimately hope for when you're dropping this much money on a fragrance. Now, if only I had even a modicum of charm or charisma to capitalize on the undeniable boost that this and the other perfumes on this video do grant the wearer. So sadly, in my case, any money spent on these spirit-crushingly priced fragrances is effectively just money down the toilet. But hopefully you're less vulgar, less annoying, less inherently off-putting to the opposite sex than I am. And if you can muster the coin to purchase any of them, then you may just be swaying the odds in your favour at a moment when you need it the most. I hope this list ends up being of some benefit to you. To my taste, it doesn't really get any better, and if there's one good thing I can say about myself, I do have pretty good taste. And while it no doubt helps your cause to go about your business smelling divine, at the same time, it's not essential. So don't feel compelled to go out of your way to save up for stuff like this. There are far more affordable options around. I've been lucky enough to have friends working in certain department stores where they were able to use their rather significant staff discounts to get a hold of them for me. If you've got the money for stuff like this, cool. If not, don't worry about it. Think of fragrances as more of a value add. Work on developing your core confidence, a strong sense of identity, and your body. That's where the real magic will always lie. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it informative, then please give it a thumbs up. And if you happen to agree or disagree with any of my recommendations, then I'd like to hear about it in the comments below. And let me know if there's any fragrances that you think that I should try. I'm always on the lookout for something new or better. I am Senthil, and thank you very much for watching. And remember, accept the things you can't change and change the things you can't accept. See you next time.